Hey guys, Keaton here from TechSmart, and today we're going to be comparing the brand new Samsung Gear Fit to the Fitbit Flex. So the reason why we're comparing the Fitbit Flex instead of the Fitbit Force is the Fitbit Force has been recalled for just some band issues rubbing against your skin and giving people rashes, which is pretty weird. So without further ado, let's go ahead and put both of these guys head to head to see which one is best on your body. So kicking it off with some aesthetics and hardware, the Gear Fit features a 1.84-inch curved Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 432 by 128 and a pixels per inch count of 245, Bluetooth 4.0, a micro USB charging port to go ahead and charge your band, a 210 milliamp hour battery, a heart rate monitor, which is one of the new additions to just technology in 2014, an accelerometer, and a gyroscope. On the other side of the coin with the Fitbit Flex, it has 5 LEDs on the front and it also has a Fitbit module inside the rubber band, which are customizable and can suit different types of colors for whatever type of color you personally like. And then finally, it rocks Bluetooth 4.0. So the Samsung Gear Fit definitely feels more premium on your wrist. I really think the display reinforced with some metal inside kind of gives it that premium feel, and that's just something I really noticed when I was working out or had it on my wrist over the Fitbit Flex. But don't rule out the Fitbit here as not being a great device. I really like how easy it is to just go ahead and swap out different bands, and the Gear Fit also shares the same similarity, so that's really cool that both of these guys can allow you to customize the bands, because sometimes people do not want to have the same color and they just kind of want a fresh new change depending on what they want for their specific band. Also, having a big bright display that is very responsive and quite interactive with the user gives the Gear Fit a leg up over the Fitbit Flex, but don't get me wrong, 4 LEDs is something you can work with. It just takes a little bit more time, and again with the Gear Fit here you can do a lot more, especially with the software integrations, and there's just a lot more applications and how it kind of interacts with your smartphone. But also the Fitbit can do this as well, just in a kind of different mechanism over the Gear Fit. As for software, the Samsung Gear Fit features Samsung's Tizen interface. It is very snappy and it's very clean, and it really is reminiscent to the Galaxy S5, in which we also have done some coverage on. And if you want to check that out, a link can be found right below that like button on this video, and you can actually view your progress with the software, which is kind of a big differentiating factor if you are one that wants to be motivated and just to see that you've come so far and you want to keep it going. And I really think that's a testament to the big display on the Samsung Gear Fit over the Fitbit Flex. Also, you'll get notification support from your Samsung Galaxy device, and it's also a companion app with S Health, so that's kind of one of the big things Samsung is pushing this year. And especially with S Health, you can really track your progress as we stated before, but there's some other cool integrations such as tracking your pulse, which we'll test out a little bit later in the video. And then finally, there's customizable themes with the Gear Fit, and that's kind of nice because it allows you to personalize the wearable that you're featuring every day. As for the Fitbit Flex's interface, there's no display, which is kind of something that a user might really want and might go with the Samsung Gear Fit. And you actually have to tap the watch to enter sleep mode, which isn't all that bad because this wearable does track sleep, so that's kind of a cool perk we'll take a look at in a little bit. And it really relies on the application found on your smartphone, so you can do your activity on there, your sleep cycle, you can view your calorie intake, which is really cool for someone who does want to get fit and use their applications. And then finally, there's categorized different activities, so if you really want to go ahead and work out a specific routine and you really need to get to a certain amount of steps, you can kind of go ahead and do that. So relying on the application isn't all that bad, but you're not getting the personalized experience with the wearable that you would find on the Samsung Gear Fit. So up next here is the biggest thing with wearables, and that's battery life. Unlike a traditional watch where you don't really have to charge it because that's just not a thing, and you can just pop a battery in there and you're good for a few years, these guys are not the case. So with the Gear Fit, you can get around 1 to 2 days of battery life depending on how much you're actually using it, and it also really depends on how many notifications are being pushed to it, because that will wear down battery life. And for me, I use a Pebble smartwatch on the daily, and I'm constantly getting notifications from Twitter or just a text messages, and that will really wear down the battery life. So that is something you're going to need to be conscientious of, as the Fitbit Flex does last longer than the Gear Fit, and that's because it doesn't have a display and it really does not harness that much battery life besides just taking the information and pushing it right back to your device. So you're going to get around 5 to 7 days on a single charge. So overall, battery life is a big thing for a wearable, and if you're a person that does not want to be charging their smartwatch or wearable, maybe the Fitbit Flex is the best choice for you. But if you're someone who doesn't really mind, then I'd definitely say the Samsung Gear Fit is the best one to consider. So in terms of the app experience on both the Gear Fit and Fitbit, they kind of give you a different type of app interface. So starting with the Gear Fit, this is only for Samsung devices, and I know with the Samsung Galaxy Gear, it was really limited to the newer Galaxy devices, but after we saw the press conference with the Galaxy S5, they're going to expand it to more Samsung only devices, and hopefully they'll kind of open open that up to all Android phones, which we might be seeing in the future, so that's always cool. But when you dive into the application and get your Gear Fit all hooked up, it looks very clean, it's simplistic, and it's something you definitely expect from Samsung. So there's that TouchWiz kind of theming along with it, and it's very simplistic, easy to use, and there's no problems there. So on the other side of the coin, there's the Fitbit applications, which work with both iOS and Android, and I gotta tell you, both experiences are fantastic. Unlike the Gear Fit, where it just solely really relies on the Gear Fit itself, the Fitbit really relies on the app experience, and I think that really shines with the design and clean aesthetics that both applications feature on iOS and Android. And I was actually using it with the HTC M8, and holy crap, how great does that application look, and I think they've really killed it this year in terms of just designing the application for the Fitbit Flex. So also in the app experience, you can input the kind of food you've consumed for the day, and you can go ahead and dive into the pedometer portion, or just some other cool quirks that both applications feature. In terms of accuracy here, the Samsung Gear Fit is a hell of a lot more accurate than the Fitbit Flex, and one of the things that I really noticed with the Fitbit Flex is when I would just shake my wrist ever so slightly, a few steps would add to it, unlike the Gear Fit, which really knows when you're actually moving. So that's always a big plus for people who want to get accurate measurement counts, and of course this can be updated by Fitbit in the future, but right now I have to say the Samsung Gear Fit is the most accurate. And also both of these guys do track sleep performance, and I found that the Fitbit sleep performance tracking capabilities on the application and on the band itself were slightly more accurate than the Gear Fit, but all around the sleep edition is quite nice to see when you're waking up in the night and how to go ahead and improve your certain sleep schedule. So just wrapping up here, I'm a big fan of both the Gear Fit and Fitbit Flex. I really like the Gear Fit because it feels very solid on your wrist or wherever you're wearing it. And up next is that big and beautiful display. Trust me, as soon as it gets on your wrist, colors pop, accuracy is there, details are very sharp, and I love how intuitive the touchscreen is, and I really think a lot of consumers are going to go ahead and like that a lot. And also it ties into the Samsung app as well. It's very simplistic, and pretty much the only thing you need to do on the application itself is just go ahead and change some of the settings that you cannot do on the watch. Now, one kind of flaw that there is to the device right now is as soon as you have it on your wrist, you kind of notice that the orientation is a little bit weird, and you kind of have to cock your wrist in a certain way to go ahead and interact with it, and that means you're going to have to curve your finger. But as we did see in a leaked video this week, they've actually changed the orientation to where it is on your side, so as soon as you just hold your wrist up like you would to go and check the time, you can actually go and interact with it in that certain orientation. So that's a very cool thing. This device is going to be absolutely flawless, and I really do think the $199 price tag really suits it, despite the limitations with only being available to Samsung devices. And right now it only is available in black, but the cool thing is you can go ahead and change out the bands to different colors, and you can really get funky with the colors, and there's a lot more options than the Fitbit in terms of customizability. So since the Gear Fit is interchangeable and you can buy interchangeable bands, it's available in black, gray, blue, green, orange, and pink, so there's a wide variety of colors to fit any type of consumer that kind of wants to add that bit of pizzazz to their wearable technology. As for the Fitbit, it's definitely a lot less bulkier than the Gear Fit, and that might be a plus for a consumer who doesn't want to show off their wearable, and that's totally okay because a lot of people have different types of preferences when wearing technology on their body. And the Fitbit is actually $99, so it's $100 cheaper than the Gear Fit, and it's available in black, slate, violet, lime, pink, tangerine, and navy, and it is also interchangeable like the Gear Fit, so that's also a very cool option for consumers who kind of want to add pizzazz to their wearable. And additionally, keep in mind here that the display isn't that intrusive as it would be with the Gear Fit, and pretty much all you have to do is just tap on it, and most of the controls and functions are held within the applications on both iOS and Android. So it's a pretty big plus that it's featured for both iOS and Android, and if you do have either one of those devices, this might be the option to consider in case you do not own a Samsung device. But again, accuracy wasn't as spot on as it was with the Gear Fit, although it was just a few minimal points. The pedometer portion where I could just go ahead and shake my wrist was kind of a downside because I like being able to track how many steps I do take in a day, and it's one of those things that I do keep track of when I'm working out. But in the end, you can't go wrong with either device here, and it really comes down to, do you want something that has a display that is only supported for a Samsung device, or do you want something that is less intrusive, $100 cheaper, offers a wide variety of colors for both of them, and works with both iOS and Android. Thank you guys so much for watching this comparison where we compared the Fitbit Flex to the Samsung Gear Fit. If you guys enjoyed this video and are a big fan of wearables and want to see more content like this, go ahead and drop me a thumbs up down below as it really helps the channel out a lot and lets me know you guys want more wearable content like this. Also throw me a comment down below letting me know if you get the Gear Fit or Fitbit Flex. Finally, go ahead and subscribe to the channel to be notified when we have a brand new wearable video or a cool giveaway like you've seen in the past. Thank you guys once again, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.